Welcome to the screencast on the Find Missing Files tool in Transana. This tool was introduced in Transana 3.20 to make it easier to identify and reconnect to images and media files that have gone missing from your Transana database. If you're using Transana 3.1 or older, you may want to watch the File Management screencast instead of this one, as this tool was introduced in Transana 3.2. When you add image and media files to a Transana database, Transana does not import the actual file because image and media files are too large. It is much more efficient if Transana stores the path and file name of the file rather than copying the entire contents of such a large file. This system works great most of the time, but changing file locations or file names can cause problems. You might reorganize your image and media data in your media library, or you might rename a file to give it a better name. These sorts of changes at the operating system level can cause Transana to lose track of media or image files. If some of your image or media files are not where Transana expects them to be, the most likely way that you'll discover this is when you try to load an episode, clip, or snapshot that still points to a file's old location. You'll get an error message saying the file cannot be found. Transana will list the full path and file name it expects, and I guarantee that if you check carefully, you will discover that the file in question is definitely not in the directory where Transana was told to look. When you acknowledge the error message, Transana will automatically take you to the Find Missing Files tool. This tool is also available from the Tools menu if you want to load it manually. The Find Missing Files tool will display a list of all the files in your database that cannot be found where they are expected. Transana initially displays your media library directory as the starting search directory for finding files, as shown near the bottom of the page. As you may have learned in other screencasts, we recommend that you set the media library directory when you add a new database to Transana, and that you keep all your image and media data within the media library directory or its subdirectories. Knowing your media library directory can help you figure out how best to handle missing files. If you're using the multi-user version of Transana, using the media library directory setting is essential rather than just recommended. If you're using Transana multi-user, the first thing you should do when the Find Missing Files tool loads is to make sure that your starting search directory accurately reflects the media library directory setting that you're supposed to use for your project. If your media library directory is set incorrectly on your computer, you should not use the Find Missing Files tool to adjust the paths for everyone on the project. You will, in effect, break the file links for all of the other members of your research team. That tends to be frowned upon. Start by selecting one or more files from the list of missing files that you want to repair. You then have a number of options. You can press the Search for Files button. The Find Missing Files tool will search the directory listed as the starting search directory, as well as all of its subdirectories. If Transana is unable to find your media file, you may want to change that directory, making the search broader, and try again. Note that this button tries to locate your missing files, but does not actually resolve the problem when it finds them. Also note that this step is automatically applied by other options if you have not already taken it, and isn't strictly necessary. However, it's often nice to know where the files that you're looking for actually are. You can choose to use the media file in that file's current actual location, changing the path in all entries in Transana's database that point to that file. If your file is located within your media library directory, this is often a good choice for handling missing files. If there is more than one file that matches your file name, Transana will ask you which copy you wish to use. You can also choose to either copy or move missing files from their current location to the expected location where Transana has been looking. If the file is not within your media library directory, moving the file is often a good choice, as long as you're not using that file in another program as well. Moving a file can be faster than copying it, and certainly takes up less disk space. If the file is being used by another program, copying it might be the better choice. If the reason Transana is unable to find the missing file is that the file name was changed, you can press the Change File Name button. You'll be offered the opportunity to identify the appropriate file for all database records that use the old file name. You should use this option with care, because if you select a file that is in use elsewhere in your database, it will be difficult to untangle the files later. As you may have noticed, once a missing file problem has been corrected, the file name will be removed from the list. If your list is empty, you have successfully resolved all missing files. Remember, merely finding the files is not enough. You need to tell Transana what to do once the file is found.